Hi, this is David J. Fielding, Zordon from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you're watching Action Activate!
Hi, it's me, Gazbot. This is Action Activate. And if I'm Gazbot and this is Action Activate, then with me, as always,
it is the Big Dog here to talk about episode 26.
26, Hardheads. Yes, indeed, sir.
So gonna just dive right into it. After I finished this episode, I was like, it's another episode, another just fillery kind of episode. How many do we have left? Oh, like 5.
Yeah, but we did have so much story going on for so many episodes. It was almost inevitable there was going to be a kind of fillery episode.
What were your initial feelings on it?
Well, full disclosure, I watched this a little over a week ago, so my memory is not as fresh as I would like it to be.
Same.
I remember thinking it was fine overall. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. That's kind of my memory. And beyond that, I think we need to get into it to kind of jog my memory, to be honest.
Yeah. So kind of starting off, Udana and Claire are on their journey. Udana, really, I don't know why she's on the journey, because she's fatigued. She has no magic. She keeps telling everybody how dangerous it is when she's the only one without magic. It really doesn't make any sense.
Well, she's on a journey of the heart. There's other kinds of magic, if you remember, and whatever. It's her being on the journey doesn't bother me. Her like not wanting help on the journey is silly. Like Claire being there makes a lot of sense. And I do like, for like the first time in 20 episodes or whatever, is that Claire is like getting better at magic and using magic in a competent way. And it's like, oh, yes. Right. Yes, this should have been happening all along. Thank you. What I would have liked to have seen with Claire too is maybe after she like kind of has that episode where she's like super powerful and like kind of realizes her lineage and her destiny, she tries to use it more and is always a little overconfident, and like every other spell works good and kind of like messes up, but she's like trying, and like, then she gains some humility, like,
or it works and has a drawback kind of thing.
Anything, but it just went back to bumbling silliness for forever, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah. We'll move on from this because, to be honest, pretty boring. We cut back to everybody working for now. And this whole plot felt so just ham-fisted and shoehorned in that, like, it almost didn't feel real.
Are you talking about the DJ thing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I agree about the DJ thing, but there's the vampire's daughter, whose name I forget, who is trying to just be a human and have friends, and they're still
Baby Vampira. Got it.
Baby Vampire. Yeah. And it just, at this point, really, like, again, like, you don't have to be your best friend, but they're always like going out of their way to be mean to her. And it's just dumb, but it's also so unrangerly, But speaking of unrangerly, the whole DJ thing, please continue.
Yeah. The music in this season, like the music that they try to tell us, like, here is music. Awful. Most heinous in all of Power Rangers.
Well, I was going to say it is heinous, but Power Rangers has a bad track record with music. There's a few that aren't so bad, but like when they had the Black Ranger and Cosmic Fury, or
Javi's music, good. Kira's music and Dino Thunder, good.
That was my next one, yeah. And there's been a few.
Kimberly's music and Mighty Morphin, good.
Antonio wasn't bad either, and Samurai.
But Levi in Super Ninja Steel and Ninja Steel, not bad.
But the kind of ambient music, or we're at a club, or there's this new band that's so hot, it's always just like they bought some royalty-free music and we're like, this is cool. And you can tell everyone's dancing to nothing or a different track, and then they put it in after. And this follows in that tradition. I don't know if it's the worst example, as you say, but it's certainly.
I will go on record and say it is the worst. If anybody cares to disagree with me, I'm open to hear it in the comments.
The idea here, I guess, is that they're both kind of stubborn, but the whole thing is just so dumb. Like,
we've shown that Pink can be hard-headed,
Mhm.
which I was like, yeah, whatever. Nick is the most inconsistent character on this entire show. He makes no sense.
No, and I'm 100% on Pink's side here. Yes, she came on a little strong and she was being a little, but she's the DJ. She's always shown to be the DJ. She has the music.
It is her character trait.
Yeah. And like he's never shown interest. Honestly, it would have made more sense if like Xander thought he was being cool or Chip thought they were being funny. But like, why is he even on there? And if he was like, oh, sorry, I thought I'd try it, or like, but he was like, it's not yours. You don't even own it. It's like, what? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, having worked jobs with certain equipment or stations or whatever, like, okay, dumb example, but I used to work at Six Flags. They had easels and equipment and stuff, and none of us owned it. But people would get their like areas, and they'd have a little cubby where they'd keep their stuff. And if somebody came in and just like grabbed the pencil box with all the way you had it lined, do I own that? No, but I use it every day. We all know I use it every day. Why would you take it without asking? You know, and that's what this is. It's like, yeah, technically he's correct, but she has every right to be annoyed, I think.
Yeah, I was definitely on her side in this episode, but we have them bicker for a little bit, and then something comes up where there's a monster, I think, and the monster has all these rules because the book told them they have rules, and nobody listened to it except for one person who looks like a pharaoh. Like,
did the book tell them they have rules? The Book of Prophecy tells the future. I'm not sure if that's where the rules came from. I thought it was two different things.
The rules are somewhere. They're part of it. Everybody knows the rules.
I do like when they show her, which we know she's regular size, next to the giants, especially because I watched this episode with my wife, she's watched Power Rangers, but she's not watching the season with me, but she might catch an episode, and she didn't realize how big they were. She thought this was a tiny fly character, and I always think that's funny because without context, it could go either way, you know?
Yeah. I love the design of Serpentina or whatever her name is. That guy could take or leave.
Yeah, no, I like her. She reminds me, her eyes especially, of something we would have seen in Samurai, like those demon characters.
Yeah, the Moogers were the henchmen. It was the
well, I mean like the main villains. I don't mean
I know, I'm forgetting the names of those.
Of the
Did they have like a special type of name?
The water demons. You're right. I don't know what they were called.
I didn't finish Samurai, so I don't know. I know that's your favorite season, so.
I mean, you're kidding, but that's fine.
I'm half kidding because you don't dislike it.
No, I don't dislike it at all. I like that season. It's certainly not my favorite, but I have a sentiment.
So as we're waiting for that ad, I was hoping we would get kind of a duel of sorts, like the one behind me happening here from the 1994 classic, The Crow. We did not get that.
No.
We instead got more bickering between the villains about how rules work and how all of them don't want to follow the rules. None of them.
It is. They're getting a little bit clearer on the rules. They're still not as clear as but I like when the villains bicker. It makes sense. I like it better than when the Rangers bicker, and they're still complaining about it. And then this guy shows up and he spits this acidy stuff on them, which we don't know what happens in the moment, but later on we find out it messes with their morphs.
Yeah.
Which I like that too, when they think they got away scot-free and then later realize, oops, we should have probably paid more attention to what was going on.
I get, once again, this episode is just held down by that Sentai footage. I get it, but boy howdy, was it quite the subplot.
Wait, where they can't morph, you mean?
Where there's some kind of conflict between Red and Pink, and based on what we can surmise from the Sentai footage, I guess we're going to fight over who's the real DJ.
Right. Well, yeah, I imagine they're... So, I guess I was assuming that... Okay, so the monster and Sentai probably also made it so they couldn't morph, but you're saying that I guess they didn't... In the Sentai, they didn't have to have the conflict at all. They could have been just like, oh no, we should have been paying better attention to, whatever. They didn't have
that's what always gets me is like... And again, this is made a long time ago. I don't know what was happening behind closed doors, behind the scenes, whatever. But it always gets me whenever there is an episode of Power Rangers that you could tell has really unique and specific Sentai footage they have to use. And for whatever reason, the Ranger story, civilian subplot that is all American only footage is bad and or makes no sense.
And sometimes it's like they're just trying to hammer it in. They don't have enough time, whatever. But sometimes, like with this, I really think it's like, well, we could do whatever we want and it's a kid show, so let's put in a teachable moment, a lesson, which is a little bit annoying, but makes more sense at the beginning of the season. This is something you've been saying a lot this season, where it's like, haven't they learned their lesson? Haven't they gotten through this? This is so petty after all they've gone through. It's like they basically been to war several times with like earth-shattering, end-of-the-world magic, and they're like, let's not talk to each other because of the DJ table. It's like, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I love when they show the Megazord like this with the fiery wings and the suit and everything, and then I don't like when it transfers into the CGI.
Yeah. Again, like, the thing that gets me is I feel like the Rangers should have lost so long ago. They keep getting demolished by these freaking terrors, and then the terrors are like, you broke the rules, so now I got to intervene and make the rule. Like, you don't even have to break any rules. Just beat them. Just straight up beat them. You're capable of doing it. All of you can do it.
What I agree. It's frustrating that the Rangers are not winning. The Rangers, the villains are defeating themselves, which there might be some lesson there. I don't think that's what they're intending, but there could be a meta message of like, evil destroys itself or whatever, which I like, but I don't think that's what they're saying. They do make it clear, I think in this episode or a previous one, where like, if they don't follow the rules of darkness, the master will not rise properly. And he didn't rise properly last time. He only came up half power. So like, it's like, we don't care who dies and how these fights go. We need to let the master rise properly. So I get that. But the serpent, it's not Serpentera. What's her name?
I think it's Serpentina.
Serpentina, she sees in the Book of Prophecy that she will be destroyed. So she connives this other guy to go get him to weaken them up. And so that's why the other guy intervenes, because she's going against the Book of Prophecy, going against I don't even know if going against the Book of Prophecy matters. They're sort of more saying that that's pointless. You can't go against it. It's going to happen. But worse than that offense is that she was supposed to be the next one to go up. She found out ahead of time and sent him up, and he's not supposed to go up. So that could mess up the master coming back.
It has to go in a certain order.
So I'm not saying what a great story. I'm saying I understand the story. You know what I mean? Like, so.
No, I get that part. It's just from the villain side, so frustrating. It's like, you guys are clearly powerful enough. You just do it. Like, quit getting in each other's way. Because the reason you keep not finishing the Rangers off every episode is that monster keeps coming in and being like, you broke the rules. I'm here to stop the rules.
And in this case, I think it's a little more forgivable because she read that she's going to be destroyed. So self-preservation, whatever. But it's best exemplified by that first episode, which I forget the monster they fought, but he was destroying them. He's like, let's make a fun game out of this. And if he didn't, they would have won. And yeah, you're right. It's not. So it's not the rules of darkness. It's the weird things they're putting on themselves. They could follow the rules of darkness and easily defeat the Rangers, except for the weird rules they put on themselves.
Yeah. It, again, I don't know what the deal is. Then this I appreciate. We've already acknowledged Red makes no sense. I don't know what his character motivations or anything are supposed to be anymore. Pink, she's a little hard-headed this episode. Should she be past this? Yes, I'll forgive it. Everybody else, spot on. So many other episodes before this where they're the voice of reason. They're saying, hey, we're a team. You should do this. The greater good, magic, whatever, friendship. Who cares? All of this makes sense from them.
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know why we have to have it now in a subplot that doesn't matter, but like...
I like that they literally say the frog juice, you're under some sort of spell. Because that happens in other episodes where they get slimed and now we're angry at each other. And so like this is ridiculous. So obviously this is part of the slime. And that should have been true. It should have been a thing where they had a minor disagreement and the slime made it a bigger deal. That would have been okay, fine, but like, and then when they get cured, they're like, yeah, that was ridiculous. Sorry, I don't know. Which they say eventually, but it's like too little too late.
Yeah, everything about it. Again, another thing there where it's like, you could write this away. Nah, I'm just really upset that you think you're the DJ of DJs. Like, it's like,
she is a cool character design, Serpentina. And I like how she shows up. She's like, I'm going to come to True World, and just basically sprays snakes everywhere that melt into the world till she's ready to call them. That's like,
and then turns everyone to stone.
Yeah, but that's weird. Like, and as a kid, that would terrify me. That's not like I'm coming in, watch out. It's like, oh, there could be evil snakes.
Which again, as a kid, you're like, how could they possibly win? Oh, she broke a rule. Nice, good for us. If she didn't break any rules, everyone would be gone.
I don't know if I would think that as a kid. I think I would be focusing on how scary the snakes were, to be honest.
Well, you would lose the forest for the trees is all I'm learning.
There's a commercial for Skeleton Crew right now that I'm letting go. I am not at all excited about that show.
I'm not either. It feels like an
Anyone?
animated series that is meant for toddlers that somehow they made live action and
I mean, I hope to be proven wrong. I wasn't excited for Andor, and that show was great. So I'll give it a chance, but like, I know we're getting off track, but like Star Wars has had a bumpy ride with like quality and people's reactions and stuff. But I feel like this is the most unified I've ever seen the fandom, where not everyone's being a jerk, not everyone's being toxic or whatever, but no one is like, yay, Skeleton Crew. Like everyone's like, why? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Power Rangers.
Hey, speaking of crews getting together, here's the crew trying to morph. Oh, wait, that slime didn't work. 2 of us can't morph. You know what we should do? Bicker some more. That sounds great.
Look at her face.
Yeah, just, again, they're like, hey, we're going to keep being mad. Good luck, everybody, without the Megazord. Yeah, hey, let's bicker some more. Oh, wait, what are they going to do? This wouldn't have happened if you weren't so stubborn, Mr. Wannabe DJ Man.
They work together. This is where they learn their lesson, and they use their magic. I have an elbow like she has. See how it's like hyper bent backwards?
Nah, I can't do that. Nope, that freaks me out.
My knees do it, too. If I do it at the same time, I'm like a chicken person. It's hard
to
see.
Go, Web, go.
Broken. Anyway, I do like, though, that this is one of those moments that I always like, where the Rangers are not morphed, but they still find a way to be Rangers. And they're like, we still have our magic. We're going to use it to trip the monster, which would not win a fight overall, but helps their teammates.
What I will say, and I've said this every season that this happens, you can tell if a Ranger team passes the test or not if when something happens to their status quo, they continue to fight. It is best exemplified in Space and Wild Force, and it is worst exemplified in Operation
Overdrive. Is my favorite season.
Right.
Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff in that season. A lot to be learned. Anyways.
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
Stop your heinous clip show. I keep losing my train of thought because you're making me agitated.
You're saying that when the Rangers lose their powers and they keep persevering, and then we've seen this season already when they were in the alternate dimension, which was a great storyline.
Yeah.
So anyway, they work together and they're like, yeah, we did it. We make a pretty good team. We're not at each other's throats. It's like, yeah, again, you should have learned that like 15 episodes ago, but she's like, you won't get away with humiliating me. Oh, that's right. Gingy comes out and then he gets turned to stone by one of these snakes, and that was very disappointing.
Yeah. And then Daggeron comes in. He's like, oh, what am I going to do without my lamp and Genji? It's like, still fight because you're a 6th Ranger, but it's cool. But yeah, to be honest, like so much of this, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just like kept rolling my eyes of like some of the decisions where it's like, there's no way they should be able to get out of this, but I know they're going to get out of it, not from them learning something and working together. It's from the villains just taking care of themselves again. Like it's happened too many times in a row where I'm just jaded.
It's the two, like the 1-2 punch of the civilian Power Ranger lesson of the day being sillier than average, or at least at this point in the show, sillier than average. And the monsters, the fights, all of it is fine. It's just like kind of the same thing every time, like you said, where they kind of are self-defeating. And so it's like, and we kind of said this in the beginning, like, I hope that's not what happens every time. And it, with minor variation, kind of is. That being said, they're in this serpent dimension. And it's wild the way they get swallowed by the snakes. Like we see this horror point of view, and they just get swallowed by the snake. And then there's like these weird clips.
And again, all of this looks cool. Brings me back to why are the villains losing?
Yeah, but I'm giving it credit for like feeling like a different genre almost. Like it feels more like they're trying to do horror, and they have like, you know, this huge snake. The CGI is a little bit questionable as usual, but it's just like, yeah, they're like crushing him and like
he turns into a giant snake. Like all of this, I am for.
Wild. Yeah.
But the way everybody keeps getting another get out of jail free card for anybody who's a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh memes. Pot of Greed, I draw 3 cards, and then I activate Pot of Greed, where I draw 3 cards from my deck. That's not how it works. But my Pot of Greed was activated. 3 more cards. Like, I'm just very over the. I want the Rangers to do something from their own actions and get a victory. Like you said, when they lost their powers and they went to that other dimension and persevered and they got magic again. Like that was cool. This feels like we're moving backwards a little bit.
Yeah, well, because basically the whole team, you're right, and the whole team was defeated. Many of them were swallowed. It's magic swallowing, so they're fine eventually, even though it seems like they were consumed. And then the only 2 Rangers left don't have their powers, but they're like, well, we're going to try to do something. And then the Pharaoh guy shows up and is like, oh, well, right after they get beat up, and it's like, oh, they're really going to lose. And he's like, hey, you know what? Here's your powers back because this wasn't fair. You're breaking the rules of darkness. And she's like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to lose again. My thought here was like the whole team, all the Megazords are beaten. How are the 2 of them going to do it? But then I forgot they have the MacGuffin dragon power so that the Red Ranger, here's what, like, I'm not sure about this, but how it seems is even if these super monsters, which I forget the name of, don't self-defeat somehow, if the Red Ranger merges with the dragon, he could still maybe beat them, is what I'm learning from this, right?
Yeah. It seems that way because he beat one of the other ones when he initially got the dragon power. Obviously, he does a lot here. She helps boost that power a little bit. I think the element of surprise of, Serpentina not thinking that she was going to have any kind of, pushback at any means. Right here, the whole, hey, we got our powers back and now we can beat you, even though the first time we fought you, we had no chance. Like that, that inconsistency is getting real old.
That's why, and again, I agree with you, but I'm trying to make it make sense. And to me, the Red Ranger dragon form attack is the only one that could really damage them. That's how I'm reading this, other than them self-destroying. And so he had that big attack, and now they're just like, well, she's already damaged. We're going to finish her off, as opposed to this is the same fight we had before. It's the fight, but now she's playing hurt. Is how I'm making it make sense.
I don't think that's how it played in the episode, but your version makes more sense. I will agree. Ninja Steel point for you.
Thanks, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they do like how are we going to defeat her? And they're like, we're going to use friendship and wind and fire together.
Well, I got to be honest. This is dumb, this part, but I love it because she turns into a snake and then she like they get rid of her snakes and she gets so mad. And then, hold on, let me adjust the speed for a second so we don't get a copyright strike, that is. So we'll go 1.5. All right. So
yeah, she's like, "Grr, I'm just gonna come eat you."
But I love that, but she wraps around their staff, which kind of makes sense. Like, I'm gonna incapacitate their weapon. But like as she's doing this, I was thinking, like, doesn't that thing spin around? Like, isn't that part of how it works? And then immediately they spin it around, and it just like wipes her out. And like, I don't know, that tickled me. I really liked that because like,
it was funny, yeah. But yeah, here we get a Megazord version of the power up they did earlier. Which again, cool beans. Korag's still out there. He's gatekeeping the master.
They make it clear that he's still what's the good name?
Lianbo.
He's Lianbo, but he's in Korag's form with Korag's voice for some reason, but he's still fighting for good. And that's look at this picture of
what a great little clip right there.
So they get back, and now everybody's happy playing, and they're all dancing to this awful music that
everybody's hunky dory. Oh,
I should not at all care about this character, but I do.
Same.
And I feel bad for her. I'm like, oh man, and then she finds the Book of Prophecy and finds out that she's going to be the new queen of the vampires, which she does not want. And like, I'm kind of more invested in that than I was in any of the Ranger subplot stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where it's going to go. And it's interesting. And it's just, I don't know.
But again, there's 5 episodes and or 5 or 6. I forget how many are left, but there's a small number left. There's
26. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes.
And 2 of those, are going to be a finale. So there's really 4 episodes to wrap everything else up and not introduce things that are, no one cares about. Overall, I've remained consistent. This is in the bottom half of all Ranger seasons, which doesn't mean it's terrible, but it is certainly not great.
I fought against that. I would need to really get them all stacked up to know if it falls in the bottom. I think it is like a C or C plus season, but that's misleading because when you think of a C plus season, it's like, it's fine and kind of average all the way through. pardon me, and I'm repeating myself, but this one is up and down and up and down. There's been some really good ups and some really dumb downs. So it evens out to kind of average. But when I think I compared to a season where all the episodes are kind of fine, I'd almost rather watch this season because you get some really cool moments and then some dumb moments you could laugh at. Where if everything's kind of fine, it's sort of like,
I have no desire to rewatch any of this season.
We're almost done with this. And then other than Overdrive, I will have watched every Power Rangers season, every episode. And the question then becomes when I was done, like not in terms of like a review or, but just from boredom in my heart, whatever, which one do I want to go back and watch? And I did go back and watch the first couple episodes of Jungle Fury recently. So clearly that's not a shock because I like Jungle Fury. The one that I think I would go back to next, which surprised even myself, is Zeo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because I feel like I know Mighty Morphin so well. And a lot of the other seasons I've seen more recently, but I'm like, yeah, I remember liking Zeo. And there was like a lot of weird stuff in there. I kind of feel like going back and like watching it, having now seen everything. And that's the one I'd go back to. But there's plenty that I would go back to.
Yeah.
This one, not
This is on the list. I would not go back to it.
Okay.
As of now, the seasons I would not go back to would be this. Ninja Storm was fine. I don't really have a huge desire to go back to it.
I would not go back to Ninja Storm, Ninja Steel, Alien Rangers, any of the ninja ones.
Alien Rangers, I don't know if I watched all of, so I would watch it once just to say I did, and it's short. But yeah, that really like.
You know what? A weird one that I would go back to, and I didn't love it when I watched it, but Megaforce. I kind of like to watch it again. A lot of this is like now that I've seen everything, I'm curious to see what I think of it and see, like.
I never watched all of Megaforce or Super Mega. I just watched bits and pieces here and there. So like to technically get a watch through, I would do it for mostly comedic reasons. But yeah, like this is one of the seasons that I had like seen stuff of and known stuff from, but never watched all the way through. And yeah, this is the one and only time I will do it.
I never say never, but it wouldn't be in my top 10 to rewatch.
I'd rather watch any Kamen Rider season than go back to this.
You'd rather watch something new than go back to something you've seen before.
No, I'd rather, watch Jungle Fury again than start a lot of new stuff.
You said you'd rather watch any Kamen Rider series. And as far as I know, you've only seen one or two.
I've seen bits and pieces of some.
Okay, but so you're saying I'd choose the unknown because I'm sure there are bad seasons of Kamen Rider too.
I'd watch the worst season of Kamen Rider before going back to this.
Okay, comment below what is the worst season of Kamen Rider. But until then,
people say it's Ghost.
I've been Gazbot
or Gotchard. I am still the big dog, Mystic Dog, while we plow through the rest of Mystic Force and to the power. See y'all later.
End credits.
What's one thing we can say this episode that we couldn't definitively say last episode?
What's that?
We don't have to make any room in our offices for items from the Heritage Auction that we most certainly did not win.
Yep. I think a lot of people that, like us, thought that maybe they'd have a chance of getting something
for less than $2,000. Did not.
No.
But hey, kudos to those who won.
But hey, hit your Ross. They got Lightning Collection for like $6 still.
$7, but yeah.
$6.99.
There you go.